Today we are on the verge of Diamond. If we have a solid run, we will make it into Diamond in this video. So let's jump into another Premier Aetherdrift draft. Let's play nice and solid, rack up a couple of wins, make it into Diamond, and then that is Platinum Hell done again for this month, and we can go through Platinum Hell again next month, but at least for the next 7 days, we don't have to worry about it. Let's go. And we are in. So, wow, interesting pack. So pick one, pack one. We have got a Monument to Endurance, which is good, but apparently not super disciplined. And actually, it's really interesting because there's a Skyray and a Mako in this pack. So this is like an amazing blue-red pack. There's a Flood the Engine. Wickerfolk is pretty good too. Gallant Strike is a great card. And then there is also a Marshall's Path Cruiser. So I think the choice here is between Path Cruiser and Monument. And it's kind of down to whether we want to... Like, I genuinely think Path Cruiser is the correct disciplined play. But it's hard to take that over Monument to Endurance, right? I still think I'm going to do it. Yeah, I still think I'm going to do it. Now, of course, we have just passed a Scrounging Skyray and a Mako, which is not ideal. But let's see here. I mean, following the Monument to Endurance, there's Count on Luck. We don't really want that. Sky Crash is good. There's a boosted sloop in this pack, and we do ideally want to be in red-blue, but we do not have to be. The best cards in this pack are Thunderhead Gunner and Crash and Burn. I think Crash and Burn's probably the card that I genuinely want the most. Sky Crash is pretty great too, but the data would tell you to pick Thunderhead Gunner here, and it is pretty fantastic with a Monument to Endurance, and it does leave us pretty open. So would Crash and Burn. So I think it's close between Gunner and Crash and Burn. I'm not taking either of these just yet, but we certainly could end up in blue-red. Now, there is Magmakin Artillerist for the blue-red deck. There's a Night Market, Broadcast Rambler's good, Guidelight Synergist is good. Spike Spitter is excellent. Spike Spitter is excellent. Kind of works with the Monument, because if you can trigger it, you can have the opponent lose 3 life to gain speed. This is just a great red card, though. So I think I'm going to take that, and maybe we would be building like black-red speed type stuff. And then we wouldn't play the Monument, but let's see. Okay, right, so very interesting. There's a Pact Altera, Ride's End, Haunt the Network, Broken Wings. These are all fantastic cards, but I think we can build the meme deck here. I think we can take Push the Limit. Clearly that sort of deck is open, so... why not try? Why not try? Now we've got Runover is easily the best card in this pack. And if we're going to do like red-green, I don't hate that. Red-green clearly is open with Boost Buggy and a Runover here. Still, I don't know. I guess we're not like, we're not married to red. Our red is decent, but not amazing. I do think I like Runover. If I do want to be blue-red, then Thopterist is just like a fine creature. Yeah, I think I'm taking the Runover just to have an out. To have an out and stay open. See, now best card in this pack probably is the Pothole Mole, but the Skybox Fairy cycles, Kickoff Celebrations, starts our engines, which is good for the Spike Spitter. It is a draw and discard effect. I think I'm just taking the Skybox Fairy, though. I do think Runover was right to take there. But if we can just build, like, the blue-red Mimi deck, then why not? Now there's a Path Cruiser. It's a really good card. But there is an Artillerist, Velo Heartbike. I guess it's between Bounce Off and Artillerist for us. I'm going to take the Path Cruiser. And I'm just going to see... I want to see what comes back on the wheel. I do want to see what comes back on the wheel. I'm happy to have a bounce off. Bounce off is the best card in this deck, but starting column is pretty nice too, and I'm not 100% sure yet whether we are playing blue. So, yeah, look, like the Mako is gone, the Scrounging Skyray is gone. There's a Wicker Folk in this pack. There's a Flood the Engine. Both are a little off color for us. I think pack 2 is going to be really rough for us. But I think... yeah, there's another Skybox Fairy. If we are building this deck, like, you do sort of just have to go for it. You do sort of just have to go for it. So I guess we will. Pack 2 is going to be a nightmare for us. There's going to be... we're going to get less cards on the way in pack 2. But pack 3 we might get hooked up. Because the Skyray and the Mako will gone from those packs. So I'm sure there's somebody else. Oh my god. There's somebody else at this table who wants to do what we are doing. Some interesting cards in this pack. There's a Spin Out, there's a Transit Mage. But we did open Fearless Swashbuckler. So... yeah, I get, like, we have opened some bombs. We've opened Push the Limit, Monument to Endurance, and the Fearless Swashbuckler, and a couple of enablers. I think we have a good basis for the red-blue Push the Limit deck. I see no reason not to just go for it. Well, I do see some reasons not to just go for it, actually. But I still think it's good enough to go for. So Skystreak Engineer is probably the best card here. Gallant Strike does cycle, and we could splash white. Wreck Remover also cycles, though. What does this bring back? All mounts and vehicles? Yeah, Wreck Remover is just a card that cycles. Would I rather have the Skystreak Engineer just have a good 2-drop? Yes. I think that's correct. I do think that's correct. So we're probably not... like, we've got Flood the Engine. Dynamite Divers are not great, although we are likely to have a fair number of vehicles, so maybe it's okay. Still here, there's an Outpace Oblivion. Full Throttle is kind of a meme. Raceway is nice, but certainly not as good as Outpace Oblivion. Outpace Oblivion is just probably the best card in the pack, and it is in our colors, so that's pretty nice. Monument, starting column. Yeah, okay. I think, look, we've got 14 cards that I'm happy to have in this deck. Yeah, we're doing it. We'll do it. We'll do it. It could be really busted. There is, I think, a reasonable chance that it doesn't come together. But we'll try. Now, there's a Stampeding Scurryfoot. Mech Cycle is... I guess it's okay. It's pretty good, in fact. We could take Windscarred Crag, because white certainly seems open, and we might want to splash. Spectral Interference is good in this deck. I think I want Spectral Interference, just because you can hold up Counterspell or Cycle, and that's pretty strong. Maybe I'm supposed to just take 2-drop Creature, but I will take the Spectral Interference. I do see major upside to taking that. I'm not sure if the Spike Spitter is going to get there. We'll have to see about that. We will have to see about that. Now, there is a Kickoff Celebrations, which does give us some draw and discard, but I think I'd rather just have Night Market. Solid pickup, fixes our mana. We can cycle it. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ways to cycle, which is pretty good. Now, there's a Guidelight Optimizer, or we just take Wreck Remover, and it's like a creature that cycles. Pretty bad pack, which is what we expected going into pack 2, so no reason to freak out about that. This does pay for your cycling costs, so I think I'm going to take it. I'm not super happy. with a Guidelight Optimizer, but it does, you can use the mana to cycle cards. So now there's a Gastel Thrillseeker, and to be honest, I do think the black-red deck that's on the table looked pretty good. Cottoned onto that fairly quickly. Still, I think we're probably, I just don't really like Stall Out. I don't really like any of these cards. I'm going to take an Aether Jacket. But we're probably not playing the Aether Jacket. We get Howler's Heavy here is a really nice card for this deck. Very happy to have picked that up. I don't mind Trip Up. We could just take Endrider Catalyzer as a 2-drop creature. Trip Up as a little bit of interaction. Pretty good defensive creature, the Catalyzer. I'll take Trip Up. Because we have the Monument, I think the upside is pretty high, right? Do I want Spell Pierce in this deck? I don't mind Burner Rocket. You can play it as a combat trick. You can get it back with Push the Limit. I do like Avishkar Racewing. Because we took the Night Market, we can probably play it. Okay, do you know what? I really don't mind where we're at. Yeah, I genuinely think that Pack 3 is going to go well for us. We're going to hit playables. We're looking to upgrade basically everything. But we are going to hit playables. This is a bad pack. There is a Reef Roads, which I'm mildly interested in. We could take Spectacular Pileup. I mean, it does cycle. We've got Starting Column, Path Cruiser, Night Market, and white does seem very open. Is that better than Reef Roads? Is that better than anything else? I think it is. I think this deck does really well with access to a board white. So we'll take it. We may not play it, but we will take it. Now there's a Flood the Engine. That's ideal. Although there's a Grease Wrench Goblin. I think that's just better. Right, we've got Outpace, Flood the Engine. We could do with a bit more interaction. But I really like Grease Wrench Goblin. And we also do need more creatures. We have the Pile Up now. Okay, I'll take the Grease Wrench Goblin. There's the Ironclad. That is a nice pickup. I do not think we are an Endrider Spike Spitter deck. Kind of a shame. But I think we are cutting that. Oil Deep Gearhulk. Well, we're not playing that on the splash. I do like Starting Column, though. Or maybe I am playing the Spike Spitter. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe I should just take the Midnight Mangler here as a good defensive creature. Over second Starting Column? Yeah, having a good 2-drop's probably important. And it is, again, something that can come back with Push the Limit, so I prefer it over the Gilded Goda here. Spectral Interference, sort of interaction. Howler's Heavy, kind of interaction. So there's a Ketrodon, which does cycle, but first copy of Bounce Off, I certainly do like in this deck. There's a Stock Up, that's great. Easy Stock Up, and we need to trim some cards here. So not sure if we're going to play the Pile Up, but I think we can. I don't really want the Wreck Remover. Not looking like a Trip Up. Yeah, it might make it. It might make it. But we will play Stock Up for sure. Swiftwater Cliffs, perfect. We will snap that up. We've already got one Avishkar Raceway. And so the second Bounce Off is significantly worse. Kickoff Celebrations, I don't really like. But then also the second Starting Column, I'm not sure that's going to make the cut here. Although maybe it's better than the Path Cruiser. Okay, well, I didn't make a choice. Is what it is. It is fine. I'd rather have the Reef Roads here. We're going to have a lot of vehicles, so we'll take the Reef Roads. I don't think I'm playing any of these cards. We've got the deck. Like, we are done. Certainly could have done a little bit better, but it's okay. I do think I think we were a little bit contested, but we managed to open like a couple of bomb rares that make this pile playable. Unsure about the pile up. We may not play it, but it's so easy to play just because you can just cycle it. And if we do get to cast it and then play Push the Limit, that's it's pretty fantastic. Guidelight Matrix might... No. I don't like that card. So I think I need to think about playing more creatures. But let's see what we're looking at here. Yeah, we're way too low on creatures. To no one's surprise. So we've got a Bounce Off, a Flood the Engine, Outpace, Oblivion, Tripper. Interaction is okay, could be better. 2 Skybox Ferry and 1 Ironclad. I don't know if we want the Spike Spitter. Because we do have the starting column. So but that's kind of it. Like, I don't know how reliably we're going to be hitting max speed. And when we do, yeah, okay. I think this is not a Spike Spitter deck. I've talked myself out of it. Path Cruiser. I just really like the idea of getting this back. Spectral Interference, little piece of interaction there. Dynamite Diver is, of course, like super mid. Swashbuckler is our only pirate. Maybe we're playing Pedal to the Metal. It's pretty good with an Ironclad. It's pretty good with Swashbuckler. We are playing the Raceway and the Night Market. Let's bring those in. Possibly Wreck Remover. But no, if this is the deck and we're trying to make 2 cuts, we have Path Cruiser, starting column, Night Market. I think we can play 1 planes. Oh, we do need... This is 2 white pips. Am I just better off not fucking around with the mana? Yeah. I think I am. Yeah, I think I'm better off just... How many lands have we got in here right now? 15. I mean, this might be a 15-land deck. We have starting column, Path Cruiser, and a bunch of cycling. We'll play 16. We will play 16, and we'll play an extra mountain. So we have got 6, 7 blue sources, 8 with the Night Market, and 7, 8, 9 red sources, plus an Avishkar Raceway. Okay. I don't hate this. Our 2-drops are pretty miserably bad, and we're really light on creatures, though. However, we've got 9 creatures. Midnight Mangler counts as 10. And you're always going to be light on creatures when you're playing this sort of cycling deck. We didn't get any of the other payoffs. Like, we didn't get the any Makos or Sky Rays. So I don't think this is very good. It never comes together. I don't know why I try. It's really difficult not to build this deck when you open Monument to Endurance and Fearless Swashbuckler. Fearless Swashbuckler. Blah, blah, blah. But there was another player in our pod who took the Sloop and probably a Sky Ray. And if this is contested at all, it just doesn't work. And I think that's what's happened here. I'm not super impressed with this deck. I think the Dynamite Diver does get played. And I think loads of our cards work with the Optimizer. Gilded Goda. It's not very good. Is the Spike Spitter just... Is the Spike Spitter better? Do I need to keep the 2-drop? I don't really need to keep the 2-drop. Because we have a bunch of cycling. Yeah, would I rather play Spike Spitter over Gilded Goda? Well, the ramp can help, actually. On the play, ramping up to push the limit is pretty good. But this is a better defensive card. We do have a Thunderhead Gunner. Okay, let's run it like this. Because what you don't want to do is exile push the limit with the Spike Spitter. Like, that's actually kind of a nightmare. So let's run it like this. Let's see how it does. We're going to need to get a little bit lucky and rely on Monument and Fearless Swashbuckler to give us a huge advantage. We do have the push the limit. We do have the cycling vehicles. We do have Monument, which is a pretty sick payoff. And we have some powerful cards and some good removal and good land. So it really, you know, it's not as bad as I'm making it out to be. It's pretty solid. It's just not quite... I'd say it's like an 8 out of 10. If a 10 is like a deck that I feel like the draft went fine, obviously it's not like a constructed deck, but about as good as a limited deck as you can expect, I'd say it's like an 8. Okay, yeah, let's run it, see how it does. Well, we have all of our lands. We're on the play. Cycle the Skybox Ferry, and this gets like a little bit better, but no early plays. I still think it's worth keeping, though. I can see just playing out the Howler's Heavy as a creature. Maybe they'll play around Spectral Interference here. Will we counter it? No, we won't. I have decided not to counter that. A Skystreak Engineer of our own. We're going to get our mana going. Burner Rocket is interesting. They might have their own Spectral Interference here, but right now we can pay for it. You can counter this Midnight Mangler. No? Okay. Bin Wixit, no attacks. We can exhaust our Skystreak Engineer. So we are gonna attack. Speed up. Thunderhead Gunner. They're gonna counter this. I forgot they had the counter spell. That was dumb. That was dumb. We had the read on Spectral Interference and I just forgot about it. Bad play. Don't... That was stupid. We knew that. We knew they had that. Ironclad. Okay, so now I just need to play this out as a 4/4. Screw you. Yeah, okay. Not a great spot. That was a really, really stupid play with the Thunderhead Gunner. Got to do better than that. Well, we can just pass. They're leaving all their mana up, which is weird. Okay, that is fine. Pretty sure they have something here. I mean, they have all their mana up. Yeah, I'm just so confident that they have something, I'm going to hold on to my stuff. Grease Wrench. It's a good way to dig. We have 5, 6 mana. Okay, we're just waiting. We do need 1 more mana in play. We need 1 more land in play, but we will still cycle away this this mountain if we need to. So, no attacks. We're going to pass the turn. This turn, we're holding up both of these cycle effects. And they didn't do anything last turn. So let's see if they've got something this turn. Now we're going to double block. Vanguardian. +2/+2. How about -3, -0? Guidelight Optimizer. Okay, I'm going to hold the exhaust because now we have the monument. So we play the monument, and then this is an exhaust for 3. All right, sweet. That is very good, actually. So, no attacks. We'll pass the turn back. Very grindy game here, but Monument to Endurance can put on a lot of pressure. Okay, what are they gaining control of? The Skystreak Engineer will crew up. Sending with the 4/2. Bit of a weird one. Because I'm just going to trade these off. Okay, they are totally out of gas. They can exhaust this and make a 5/5, but I am going to draw some cards. I will draw a card, and I will... You will lose 3 life. Interference is interesting. Probably not hitting. Is it still worth holding up? Yeah, it is, right? So we'll play out the Artillerist, pushes some extra damage. We cycle this trip up this turn. We can still hold up Burner Rocket. And, yeah, I'm going to do this now. Because it builds my speed. Holding up Burner Rocket is worth it if they exhaust this. So we're going to do that. Yeah, if their whole turn is exhaust, sabotage, strategist, and swing. In fact, either of these. Yeah, see, like, this is fine. Don't know what they drew. But we can crew. Make our block. We get this trade. That is very good for us. Outpace Oblivion. So Swashbuckler does draw us cards, they lose life, but right now it does also just trade. Can we gain... We can gain max speed this turn. Yeah, okay. I like that. So let's outpace. Should I be taking out the Vinwixit? This can't attack. Yeah, okay. Let's take out the Vinwixit. That's what wins them the long game. And then we can sack this. Deal 2 damage to ourselves. But we are at max speed. Let's discard... Is Spectral Interference ever doing anything? Is Dynamite Diver... Let's drop the Dynamite Diver. We don't need that. Draw a card, please. 12 cards left. We can bounce off the Skystreak Engineer because it's ours. We can get it back. So we're super happy to trade one of these because Burner Rocket can come back when we cast our Spectral Interference. So let's trade off with the Camera Launcher, place that block there, take one, they go up to 3 speed, which is pretty irrelevant right now. Afterburner Expert post-combat. Let's hold the bounce off. And there's a push the limit. So push the limit is for 3, 7, 10, 16, 20, plus another 3. They have 1 card left. They don't... Do they even have lethal on the way back? I don't think they do. Is it... Is this right? Let's see. They can't block with this. A bunch of it's in the air. I'm pretty sure this is just lethal. Okay, Ketrodon cycles. Okay, nice. Playing at the end of the day here, whereas usually I play at the start of the day, which does mean that, you know, I'm a little bit, just a tiny bit slow, I think. Are we doing anything on turn 2? We might be cycling something on turn 2. Do I want Breeze Wrench Goblin down on turn 1? Unsure. We're on the draw, so we'll wait to see what the opponent does before we decide. So they haven't played a creature. I do think I want... I don't have an artifact in... Yeah, I don't have a vehicle in play. Yeah, I think it's worth getting the 2-1 down. They're likely to play a creature, but this is a really good turn 1 play. Like, it's pretty aggressive, so if they don't have a good defensive card, then they're going to take a bunch of damage from this thing before we really even need to do anything. Like, okay, now that I've drawn Gilded Goda, I got to play that out. We can curve and be aggressive. Next turn we can cycle something. So this can crew the Chariot. But then it is just a 3/3 and they'd be tapping out. I don't think that's worth it. We drew a land. That is very good. Saddles 1. Okay, I guess we're just playing the Artillerist out. Making treasures, getting more damage in. Green. Night market on green. Pretty excellent, in my opinion. If they're going to crew up an attacker then, again, like, I'm really not unhappy about that. They've made some strange decisions, I think. Okay, 1 white up, doing nothing else. We'll play the Reef Road. So we've got 4 mana at our disposal. I wonder if it's better to just... attack? It is better to just attack. Because they can crew and block, and I can trade the Grease Wrench Goblin. Oh, it costs 2 more. Whoops. Okay, they got me there. They got me there. Alright, I'll save it. I like holding up Spectral Interference for whatever their next thing is. Beast Rider. That is absolutely worth a counter. And we can... There's no attack. But we can just play out a big old Skybox Fairy. And then next turn we can Swashbuckler and Skybox Fairy. Okay, so that doesn't look as good now. But we will still attack with the Skybox Fairy. Still absolutely worthy trade. If it trades with the... Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we're going to play the Guidelight Optimizer. Crew you up. Happily taking that trade. And there's nothing I want to flood the engine here. I'm just going to wait. I guess I could have just played out the Swashbuckler. Pride of the Road. Cool. So now if they're going to start attacking, then that's very good for me. Good, 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 good. Land off the top would have been good, but this is artifact or abilities. Okay, so I probably should have noted that, but still, we flood the engine, the Pride of the Road. Yeah, I would have rather had the Swashbuckler in play here. They are down to 11. I'm going to cycle the Ironclad now. Path Cruiser's nice. Nice big thing. Gets another mountain. It can attack with the Swashbuckler eventually. It tussles with a Hazard of the Dunes. And now they are out of stuff. And it is an island. So we can... This costs 5. And it gets a counter. So. Path Cruiser. Mountain. Play out the Swashbuckler. No attacks, we relax. Because they are very low. We're going to get discard 2 cards. That's going to deal another 2 damage with the Magmakin Artillerist. We're pretty close to just having them dead. They can exhaust the Hazard of the Dunes and swing, hit me for 7, hit me for 10, but then they're dead on the way back. So they can't swing with the Skyseer's Chariot. They can swing with the Hazard of the Dunes, but then it is tapped down, and the attack back, they have 1 blocker. So they block the 6/5, they take lethal. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is just lethal now. I don't think they have this attack. Because we can activate the Grease Wrench, crew swing, and that's going to deal 4 damage to them. Yeah, so we activate the Grease Wrench Goblin, discard 2 cards, we crew 5, we draw 3, we discard 2 cards. Cool. I think the opponent had some tools there, but they played a little weird. They used their removal a bit too quickly, I think. Oh, we're in Diamond! Oh God, we're out of Platinum Hell, thank God. Now that we've hit Diamond, we cannot derank out of Diamond. So our next few losses are absolutely free. All right, we are going first. We have a reasonably good curve. I'm very happy about this. Lead on the Swiftwater Cliffs into Optimizer. Starting column holding up Interference. Oh, Monument to Endurance as well. It's so sweet. And then Thunderhead Gunner. Oh, Chef's Kiss. If this is a mirror match, we should be in a good spot. It is indeed a mirror match. So we want to tap for blue, play starting column, hold up Spectral Interference. Next turn we can play Monument and cycle. Yeah, let's counter that. I think they missed a land drop. They didn't. So we can now Monument. Cycle. Draw a card. Play an island. We might cycle the Night Market, so I'll hold on to it. We've got all of our colors, so doth not matter. Boost Buggy and Path Cruiser. Okay. So this is crew 5. So they can exhaust the Boost Buggy and swing for 6. Which is, of course, pretty big. That is pretty big, but we can just dig for our push the limit. And we'll win that way. Okay. Crash and burn my Thunderhead Gunner. How rude. But they are tapped out, and they're making this attack. So I'm just taking 4. Cycling my Skybox Fairy, drawing more cards. Going to try and bury them with card advantage for the time being. Stock Up is great. Burner Rocket is actually kind of not bad. Pretty nice. So let's start with Stock Up. Outpace Oblivion we will take. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trip Up or Midnight Mangler? Midnight Mangler does block the boost bug. But then, yeah, it does trade with the boost buggy. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Technically, we have 5. So we can... Magmakin, develop our board this turn. Next turn, we can get to doing more cycly stuff. But we should be able to get up to speed now that we've got the Magmakin and our engines are started. Outpace Oblivion, cheeky bit of removal. Burner Rocket's a nice trick here. Can make a Magmakin. Oh, that's good. Well, I'll just outpace that and we're fine. This draws them 3 cards. But they spent their whole turn doing that. Okay, easy outpace, playing around a spell pierce. Okay, they save the loot. Now that is actually troublesome, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So loot has double strike, can deal 3. We can kill it with the Magmakin and a burner rocket. Do I want to get my speed up this turn? One, two, three, 4, 5. I think I have to try. Yeah, loot might just power through us. But still, I mean, we've got 2 Skybox Fairies down there. Like, push the limit is still going to be a massive amount of damage. We can make them have something. Oh, this doesn't work. Because they can deal 3 damage. They can deal the first strike damage and then use the loot to kill the Magmakin. That surely was a mistake. Now I've got to make him have it. So we pass the blocks. There's the first strike damage. What? Oh, it's +2? I thought it was +3. Fuck. Oh, man. I am punting all over the place. I don't deserve to win this game now. Bleh. Okay. Come on, Josh. Draw Cycler. Draw something that cycles. Yeah, I mean, I don't deserve to win for that punt. What am I thinking of that gives +3/+0? Oh, Island is not gonna do it. Island is bad. Yeah, okay. We're in some big trouble now. We can get out of it. We draw a spell that cycles or discards cards in any way. But we probably have like 1 more turn. Right now, push the limit is for 3 Petrodon. That's devastating. But they're tapped very low. Like, I don't know, they're on 21. Push the limit is for 8 plus 3, 8 plus 6, 14, 17. Mountain. Mountain. They have lethal on the way back. Yeah. A well-deserved loss. We threw that. But loot is really strong. Opponent goes first. This is a good hand. Really good hand. We can cycle into Midnight Mangler, into Stock Up. Trip Up to chill the opponent out if they get a little frisky, a little too quickly. Green-black. So this is one of the decks, the one that we're playing, is one of the decks that doesn't care too much about the engine rack, which is quite a luxury. So we can just trade with the Omnivore here. Wretched Doll. Can I take 4 to just stock up and then next turn? Do I have to outpace this? In green-black, I don't want to because outpace will hit something bigger. But it is a lot of damage. I'm going to take the turn to stock up. And, okay, so next turn, I guess I'm playing a 3-mana spell. And a Dynamite Diver is actually good on this board. So unbelievably, I think I am taking that. And then I think Path Bruiser. Okay, chunks and chunks of damage. Okay, so Magmakin Artillerist is actually a nice creature to have on this board, and Dynamite Diver is also good. So I feel like that has stabilized us relatively well, and we have the answers to big stuff in our hand. They missed a land drop, and they passed the turn. That is very good for us. Go get that mountain. Playing the Optimizer, again, it's like, it's not irrelevant on this board. And it would actually allow us to crew the Path Bruiser. So I'm going to do it. So they definitely have some big stuff in hand, but we have Trip Up, Flood the Engine, Outpace. We should be able to keep them off tempo for a while. Okay. I mean, they're way off of casting Terrian. They may, if they just get their Omnivore back. Yeah, all right. Still good. So, we have no attacks. They have no attacks. We can just play the Thunderhead Gunner here. And we can get to cycling. play that mountain. There's a siphon fuel. Still no real interesting targets for anything. But I could get my engine started here. I just think I want to wait for something bigger to outpace. I could outpace the rat and then send the path cruiser. Trades with these two. And that's okay with us because we're a push the limit deck. Okay. We could blow up the block. Yeah, I'm going to do it because they really don't want this back on top, I don't think. They don't want to draw it. So we blow up the block. We just beat down with Path Cruiser. They're choked on green. If all they can do is play the Omnivore, that's not good enough. They did nothing. Okay. So is Howler's Heavy just a big dumb creature here? A 3/4 doesn't punch through this. There's not really much benefit to doing that. So we are going to make a 1/1 instead. Dome ourselves, but get our speed up. We're probably just cycling this. Like, all I want to do now is start off a chain of cycling and dig through to my better stuff. I don't think the Howler's Heavy is worth keeping. Are you worth... Well, you're worth playing out. I think I just want to cycle this anyway. Like, I really want to start digging through to my better cards, and I want to retain my answers to their cards. But we can chill. We can relax. There's nothing too scary is going on. I think we are still ahead. Rise from the Wreck gets back Jaguar, Engine Rat, and an Omnivore. No sweat. Skybox Ferry. Okay, let's start with cycling you. We could have just played it out. It's a perfectly reasonable creature here. There's the push the limit. And right now it gets back Path Cruiser, Skybox Ferry, Midnight Mangler, Ironclad. Another Skybox Ferry. So what I want to do is just play this one out and trade it off for something first. Because I need to goad them into letting their defenses down before the push limit actually secures a win. And the Skybox Ferry can actually attack. Let's just make this block and pick off the engine wrap. There's the Terrian. And there's a monument. So we're just going to flood the engine Terry over here. Am I attacking with Skybox? They take 4. We're going to play out the monument, because if they have interaction, I'm happy for them to use it. Because we're going for the push the limit win here. Which is on the table if they let their defenses down a little bit. Okay. So now push the limit will decimate their board. Okay, yeah. Second Terrian. We find burner rocket. Through 2, so... This cruise 1. Do I want to go for the attack? As long as I don't die. Like, if I crew, I attack. I could just push the limit here. They have 3 blockers. So, block 1. I want to go for it next turn, but 1... It's 4 in the air. That's a 6-5. I don't know if it's lethal, and then we might die on the way back. I think we're supposed to wait a turn. Yeah, I think we're supposed to wait. I want the Terrian to attack into the burner rocket, trade both of these off. And then push the limit them back. That is what we want. trample on the biggest one. Maybe playing a little bit overcautious there. But a win is a win. Okay. Opponent goes first. We do have a curve of creatures, so we will keep this hand. And our opponent might have a tough decision on their hands, but they did decide to keep. So if they decided to keep despite having a fairly slow hand, we should be able to punish that, because we do actually have a pretty aggressive curve if we want to. I think the question is, do they have a 2-drop? If they do have a 2-drop, then I'd be inclined to think that their hand is probably fine and they just took a minute to decide. Yeah, that's a pretty good 2-drop. Skystreak Engineer is a fine blocker, though. So, of course, if they attack, they're presenting a trick. Boom Scholar. And no attacks. So, okay, interesting. Hold this back. If they go, they can just exhaust. Am I supposed to flood the engines the Boom Scholar in this spot? This exhausts into a 4/3. It might be right. Flood the engine, the Boom Scholar here. I could just keep the Flood the Engine back for something big and actually scary, but then what am I doing against this 4/3? Not enough. Yeah, so I'm gonna Flood the Engine, the Boom Scholar. Because I do actually think playing this on turn 3 makes it a pretty strong card. But I also think they're likely to play something that would have been a better target, so... tough decision. Looks like a Crash and Burn here. They're contemplating whether to play Crash and Burn on the Skystreak Engineer. They now don't have any attacks. Okay, now they do. But... it is okay, because Magmakin Artillerist holds the fort against this board relatively well. Although, I guess not if they... exhaust, but... fine. Whatever. This allows us to play Thunderhead Gunner next turn. And then the Thunderhead Gunner does block everything here, so I can let them do this. I can take 4. If they spend their whole turn exhausting one of these, so be it. Afterburner Expert. Well, now I have a tough decision to make. I don't really want to cycle any of these cards. Yeah, no good blocks here. Play a 3-drop. Yeah, like we could play Outpace and kill one of these. That's not very good. Unfortunately, I think I'm cycling the Swashbuckler here. Because at least Thunderhead Gunner profitably blocks these Prowcatcher specialists. So going down to 7. Okay. And an Elvish Refueler. So, I have to outpace the Elvish Refueler. That has got to happen. Yeah, okay. That is happening. And then I'm going to throw the Grease Wrench Goblin away. No attacks, and we can use Howler's Heavy to eat the Afterburner Expert. Or the Legak. Whatever they attack with this turn, Howler's Heavy allows us to eat it. And then if we can just cycle a bit more, get their life total a little lower, then push the limit is probably going to be in lethal range. Well, we've got quite a bit of work to go before we get there, and our life total is not high. I do think Flood the Engine on the Boom Scholar was worth it. The amount of mana it would have given them is pretty crazy. Oh, taking another 4 is really rough. But if I block the Afterburner Expert, they exhaust one of these, they do just get it back. But they can't do that this turn. Yeah, just having blockers, kind of what we need to do. Or removal. We've used a Flood the Engine. We've used an Outpace. We don't want a Counterspell. I said we don't want a Counterspell? Bounce Off is actually pretty nice. Let's find something interesting to do. So crew and trade is interesting. But play out the Guidelight Optimizer, play the land, hold, bounce off, and cycle is fine. I actually think casting these and then they're just trying to trade off with their creatures would have been better. $5 to 15. I think we're close to turning a corner. And I'm really glad we have this bounce off in hand. Cool. If this is their only attack, then yeah, that's pretty fine with me. Okay. So I think I'm actually just playing Skybox Fairies. Trading off with their creatures. Holding the bounce off. Trying to whittle their board down that way. Because they still don't have the mana to, like, double exhaust. So we can place a block here. A block here. Bounce something. And we're not dead. We're very close to dead, though. So very close. That attack is very good for us. Okay. This Sky Crash. Goad them into exhausting. Smart opponent. Very smart. Yeah, they saw the bounce off coming, so they did not go for lethal. Very prudent. Okay, so block, dead. Close. Really close, but the opponent had just had a really aggressive start, got our life total just a little too low before we could do anything to stop it. Okay, we're on the play, push the limit in hand. A good curve. Well, we will keep this. Wreckage Wickerfolk from the opponent. So, we actually get to play an attack with Fearless Swashbuckler here, which is fun. Transit Mage. And that is a Hull Drifter. So we can attack and blow up the block. Not that exciting. Guess we can send with you. And I'm fine with that. We'll just cycle Skybox Ferry here. Nimble Thopterus. Do I want to bounce the token? Nah. Let's just go for the rapid push the limit win, eh? We can actually attack if they block with everything. Then the Swashbuckler dies. Yeah, it's better as a blocker here. Probably just on this board playing the Howler's Heavy as a creature. Weird attack. Okay. Grimbauble the Swashbuckler. And another Thopterus. Outpace Oblivion. That is for later. Keep doing it. I've been playing Slay the Spire, where you right-click to like cancel out of a move. Let's just play the big beefy boy. No need to outpace Oblivion yet. Island not ideal. Am I out of stuff to do? I pretty much am. This is rather sad. Need to do something about these flyers. Would like to save Outpace Oblivion for a Pact Terror or something. Winter. I guess the one-sided board wipe is worth outpacing. Taking 5 in the air right now, and then another 2. Yeah, they're gonna get us with all these flyers for sure. We go down to 7, and then yeah, they actually just have lethal here. They just have lethal. Would you look at that? I cannot stop it. Winter is actually good here. Skybox Fairy, Mangler, that doesn't do enough, not nearly enough. Yeah, they got me. Well, there you have it, folks. We went 3-3 in the end with the meme deck, with the Push the Limits meme deck. We did win with Push the Limits twice, and that is a very fun way to win. It's also, it is impossible, not impossible. It is really hard not to build that deck when you pick one, pack one Idol of Endurance, and we also picked up a Fearless Swashbuckler. But because we passed Skyray and Mako, I think we were contested. I think there was another person trying to build blue-red cycling in our pod. And the blue-red deck is, you have to be the only person in the pod drafting it. That is why it is so hit and miss. It is not a deep enough archetype to support 2 drafters at a table. We knew that that was going to happen. So it's very, very possible that the disciplined thing to do would have been to pick one, pack one Marshall's Path Cruiser, because that's always a strong card and leaves you incredibly open to just reading the draft. Whereas because I took Idol of Endurance, we kind of locked ourselves into blue-red. I do feel like we were the deserved blue-red seat in a way, but that is the risk when you play blue-red in Aetherdrift Draft. If there's more than one blue-red player at your table, then that archetype just isn't. It's not. Neither of you are going to get there. Still, 3-3, knowing that the deck didn't quite come together. Pack 2 was pretty rough. We really only got there because of the rares that we happened to open in Pack 1 and Pack 2. And if it wasn't for those, the deck would have been absolutely dog shit. So, take that advice into your next draft. I will catch you on the next episode of Operation Double Mythic, which will be out tomorrow, and see you then. Goodbye.